What I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to mark the right answer, the answer that I should have marked, and maybe I'll put an English definition. I'm going to do a little more than that here in a second, but what it's really good for here is what we're about to make with it, what we're about to do with it. And I do this, and as I do so, there it is. Look at all that detail now that I have. Let's get into what to do with your mock test results. It's not as simple as just getting a score and getting a sense of how close or far you are from being where you want to be. That as well, what you really want to do, or whether or not you just even passed. In the case of the JLPT, passing is great, but a higher score is a higher score and might be taken under consideration by whatever company or institution is looking at your results. So I'm going to show you what I like to do when it comes to taking tests and how I'm applying that to the JLPT N1 for this coming December. To do so, I'm going to use a couple of tools, and one of them is Anki. That's the flashcard system that relies on SRS, or a spaced repetition system, so I don't waste a lot of time reviewing stuff I don't need to review. Alright, so here we are, and I apologize if ever my face gets in the way here. I'll try not to let it do so. So I just have grabbed a quick example here of a question that I missed for whatever reason that I'm now going to make a flashcard for. Now I've already started it. I started it before the video, and I decided I'm just going to finish it here so you can see both how I'm going to make the card and what I'm going to do next. Now obviously, where did I get this from on the right hand side here? So this is a snapshot, and yes, I'm a little old school like this. I'm going back through the test and checking. I did fill out an actual paper sheet. I did pass, by the way, for the record, but I want a higher score. So after looking through and making sure that the percentages were good, I went through and checked, made sure that I had the right answers and my own original answers marked on here. Those are both very important. And so what I'm going to do is, here's the correct answer. So I went back through the test, the PDF that I used for my mock test, and took screenshots of the problems I missed. I don't care right now much about the ones I got right. So taking the ones I missed, I'm highlighting. I have an image already of this on its own, and then I'm going to make a backside. So I made a copy, or I have a copy that I am currently making of that same image, and we'll see what we do with both of those in a second. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to mark the right answer, the answer that I should have marked, and maybe I'll put an English definition. I'm going to do a little more than that here in a second, but what I also really critically want to do is mark what was the answer I chose when I took the test, so that I'm also constantly reviewing what it is that I'm doing wrong, not just what I should have done to get it right. And so I marked 2. I thought it was jikyo. So this is, I'm just going to make sure that I indicate here that was the one I chose, and it's the wrong one. I'm going to go back through here now, and I don't really care as much about these others because I wasn't tempted. If maybe I would fill this out more fully if I had been tempted, but I don't recall even being tempted to choose one of these others. It was really down to these 2, and I, at the time, going fast, probably felt really confident, clearly felt more confident about jikyo, and I was wrong. So now what do I do? So now what I've done is I'm using jisho over here, as you can see, and I have gone on and looked up, I looked up the definition of jitsujo and wrote that down. It's just I chose one of the many definitions, actual circumstances. That's usually not enough, but we're trying to tease out the nuances between these words. Doing that in English alone is really, personally, not enough in my opinion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also include at least, not necessarily a full sentence, that's unnecessary. It's really simply I just want to take I want to take a phrase, like see how this would be used in phrasing a Japanese sentence. So I can see, let's see, make sure I've only got a couple of examples for jitsujo actually, so these three, so I'll just choose one that makes sense. So jitsujo ga dou natte iru ka. This is not really, I could use this one, it's not really a phrase. I like it when it's like a something that might only be used in this case. We say jitsujo o yueba. I don't think we'd ever say jikkyo o yueba, so that's a good possible selection there. And then this is what really interests me. So we've got a full phrase, we've got a full compound word here. Jitsujo chosa inkai. That's nice. So I am particularly interested in that one, and that would be a fact-finding committee. So I'm going to write that one down because it's very unlikely then there would be a jikkyo chousai inkai. All right, there we go. So we'll go over here to jikkyo, and I'm going to do the same thing. Maybe I'll just start with a sentence or a phrase first. So jikkyo. There we go. Oh, now this is a problem. There are no sentences per se, so I'd have to find phrasings elsewhere. So what I can do in this case, and maybe I won't do it here just to save time in the video, this is when I would normally go check out another resource, like I might check out Weblio. That's a Japanese dictionary, and they often have good examples there too. It's a little bit more wieldy trying to get around that site. Lots more things to click on and so forth. I love Jisho's very streamlined design, very simple to find. You can even draw stuff if you can't remember how it's read or so forth. So I'm a big fan of Jisho, but worst case, I will go to Weblio. And then another good resource, believe it or not, something like JLPT, where I'm like, okay, I can't find very good phrasings or sentences here. Chat, would you please make a few example sentences using this word, and then I'll choose the one I like the most. So take your pick. While we're here, we're at least going to go on get a nice English definition here. Now, actual circumstances and actual state of things or actual condition, that all is really similar. In fact, actual condition probably was also among the definitions in Jitsujo. So this is why I think it's very important to come up with example phrases or example sentences to put on your cards too, because it's really not, we're not trying to figure out what English equivalent it has. It's not one-to-one like that. We're trying to figure out what kind of Japanese psychological specific nuances that these words carry. And to do that, we're going to have Japanese examples. But for now, I'm going to put that. So let's just say, maybe I'll just do actual state of things. Now, let's actually go on and pretend that I did find a nice phrasing or example or something. I'm going to save it. So I've got, I don't know if you can see it in there. Let me open that again real quick. You hopefully can see that I have they're very small at this point, but hold on a second. So this would be the front of the card. This is the back of the card that I just did. And now what I'm going to do, this is the really special part, I suppose. I'm going to open Anki. And I have a new deck. Decided to just create a new deck for this purpose. And my old deck was for older times. So this is my first mock test of the year. I'm going to do this new deck. And it's been a little while since I've used Anki. Hopefully it's mostly the same. Let's check. So I'm going to now try and attach. I'm not going to write anything. If I have to, I will, but I hopefully won't have to do that. I'm really just going to add images. It's not always that user-friendly. Let's try just adding, yeah, there we go. All right, so maybe if we just do an attachment, I'll do it. I need to go to, let's see, where's that? Oh, duh, it was right there under 2023. Okay, the review cards, of course. Now let's do just the ones. I would do this with all these cards. Let's do it with just this one for now. So I'm going to put that on the front. And I'm going to hope that that's big enough. Toggle actual size. Oh, I can double. Oh, that's nice. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let me do the same here. I'm going to attach, and on the back, put that. And so if I double click it, it says great. It just kind of expands like that. And that is pretty much it. Now what I might do here, I'm going to add a tag. This was from a 2017 test, a little older, but I've got 2 more mock tests that I'll be doing in the coming months. But for now, this is probably good enough. So I'm going to hit add, and we're done. And so what it's done is it's immediately gone to the next card, assuming, of course, that I want to make more cards, and I will. But for now, let's close it. And you can see there's now a new card. It's kind of, sorry, the text is all very small. I'm not even sure if I can make that. I can't make it bigger here like I could a browser, but that's all right. And I can study it. And when I do it, look at that. It looks like it did when I actually took the test. It's nice, easy enough to read, even though it's not the greatest resolution. And so I try and guess again, and I do this. And as I do so, there it is. Look at all that detail now that I have, reminding me of all the things that are going to be important were I to encounter this or a similar question on the test. It's always going to be something similar, not the same. And if you've never used Donkey before, part of what's really important about a spaced repetition system is that you answer honestly. Was this easy to answer? In which case, you won't have to review it again probably for 4 days. Notice there's shortcut keys too. You could actually just press 1, 2, 3, or 4. Good enough, and well, we're going to do it again probably in the same session. If it was hard, definitely in the same session. And again means, maybe 1 card away from now. So after this next card that I would do this one again until it runs to 4 days. And then it's going to automatically, the software is amazing, it's going to automatically adjust the length of time in which I review something farther and farther out the more and more I know it. Which means I'm spending less and less time studying something I already know, which is very valuable. So some people, I don't know, question this. They wonder, well, is this really worth the time to make this? You're spending a lot of time making this system. Yes, but you're improving your memory substantially. And then you're not, I love Quizlet and some of these, but if without spaced repetition, you're going to be spending a whole heck of a lot of time going back over questions you already pretty much know. And you don't want to second guess yourself by just clicking through and being like, I know. You need to actually answer it. You need to answer why it's the right answer. So with that, I hope this helped. If it did, please let me know that. If you're watching this currently on YouTube, please consider liking and potentially even subscribing to the channel, because there's a lot of extra content that I'm looking forward to making for everybody, JLPT and non-JLPT related. On that note, what is something that would be helpful for you? What would you like to see something of?